everyone's favourite Tesla bull, Ross Gerber has some thoughts on what's behind Tesla's stock's weakness.
Welcome back to Trading 360. I'm Nicole Petalides, live at the New York Stock Exchange. Glad you are with us. And joining me is a very special guest. Ross Gerber is with us, President and CEO, Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management.
You got to give credit to Ross, by the way. Masterful self-promoter. You notice, right? I've talked about this in the past. This is how the media works. Very rarely, and I mean very rarely, will you find a guest in media anywhere who isn't there to promote a business or a product. Notice how Ross was introduced. Here's Ross. Here's his company and what they do. E.g., invest your money with Ross. So you got to give the guy credit. The fact that I'm creating content, reacting to some of Ross's opinions, just show how good he is at getting his face out in the media. And as they say, what's the saying, right? No press is bad press. Something like that. I'm sure for every 1, 2, 3 or 50 people that think this guy's a bit unhinged, there might be 1 or 2 people that think, oh, I totally agree with this guy. I might become a client of his fund and or investment management firm or whatever they're called, wealth management firm.
See Ross Gerber. I haven't seen you in some time. Are you feeling bullish, bearish, cautious? I mean, how are you feeling?
No, I'm feeling really bullish. This is as good as it gets, you know? I mean, we've been waiting for a long time for the Fed to stop destroying business. And now, despite all the attempts that the Fed has made to destroy the economy, it's managed to keep going strong. So,
for context, Ross is referring to, I presume, interest rates, which funnily enough have an outsized impact on, wait, what? Oh, that's right, the automotive sector. If you can't get a car loan, you can't buy a car with a loan, so you don't buy a car with a loan. Interest rates being ratcheted up so much has literally prevented many consumers who previously could get a loan from even being able to get one. Then the secondary fact is now those who can get a loan look at their monthly repayments being much higher than they would have previously. For what it's worth, I think interest rates are having a pretty meaningful impact on the US auto industry in particular right now. We'll find out, of course, if and when rates start coming back down. Many people expecting that later this year.
You know, it's really kind of the best of all worlds right now with giving the Fed the ability to not have to lower interest rates because they have to. You know, that's actually great news. So a 3% growth rate in the economy and a 3% inflation rate is actually a great economy. You know, what's there not to like? We expect good earnings in Q1. You know, it's not a super too hot economy, but it's certainly not too cold either.
All right, so that certainly sounds like a take, and that's good synopsis overall. I'd love to hear about some of the names that you're talking about today. I got to talk about Tesla, the worst performer in the S&P 500 this year, or among the worst performers, down 35%. And I'd love to hear your insight. I know you have talked, I guess, with Elon Musk at some point. It was a name that you liked. He's certainly smart and a visionary, but the questions are, is he distracted? Is AI going somewhere other than Tesla? And that was part of the value of Tesla, was the AI story, and is he going to separate that? We saw the launch. I saw the launch yesterday on the rocket, or maybe it was the day before. I mean, that was exciting. What's the big picture on Tesla? It's at 163 today.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big picture, which you kind of summed up pretty well, is that, you know, a lot of things I've been saying over the last 6-7 months have finally come to fruition. I've been warning investors in Tesla for a long time about the fact that Elon Musk's lack of focus and his political stances in support of white supremacy and other
Oh, bro, I just can't. I've bitten clean through my fucking tongue, guys. Blood everywhere. Rather than address this directly, too absurd to even go there. It's just not worth it. I just wanted to share this, in case you missed it. Orange Man bad. According to the fake news, I mean the very legitimate mainstream media who never repeat and propagate falsehoods so that NPCs regurgitate them unthinkingly. So according to the fake news, quote, Trump says there will be a bloodbath if he loses the election. By the way, the most accurately named outlet of all time. Tune in to CBS. In Ohio rally, Trump says there will be a bloodbath if he loses the election. And one more from one of the worst publications on earth. Formerly not so, now steaming pile. Trump says there will be a bloodbath. So what's going on here? Well, apparently, according to the media, and you guys are welcome to go dig and see many more examples of these extremely misleading headlines and falsities from the fake news, implying and suggesting that if Trump doesn't get elected, there'll be riots on the street, people getting slaughtered, total chaos, a total bloodbath. And I mean, really, here's an example of Hillary Clinton spreading more of these falsehoods, and we'll get to the actual context in a moment. Quote, a bloodbath. What would you say if you saw this in another country? And she's reposting somebody who said, Trump, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. And you have an out of context clip, a 17-second clip. There are countless examples of this everywhere. The fake news and then being repeated by NPCs, who between them probably don't have half a brain cell, so they just believe what they're told. Let's watch the actual clip for some context to understand, because, context is important. Media narratives, fake narratives, the one true narrative versus reality with context often are entirely independent things. Now, I'm not sure why I'm going down this detour. It's got nothing at all to do with Ross. I just can't even something supporting white supremacy. Let's watch the actual clip from Orange Man Bad, claiming there's going to be a bloodbath if he loses the elections.
Mexico has taken, over a period of 30 years, 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it. Went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. Now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole... That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine...
So, with proper context, it's quite clear that Orange Man Bad was referring to a bloodbath economically, specifically citing an example of the automotive industry. And he's right, by the way. Some major Chinese automotive manufacturers currently building factories with the intent to produce vehicles in Mexico with much cheaper labour and sell them into the United States. This would be a win for consumers, but not a win for American workers. Trump historically very intense protectionist policies. So basically, whatever the price of the vehicle, double it if it's being made in Mexico and imported to the US. Absolutely vicious policy. I'm sure Tesla wouldn't be thrilled about this prospect if it's a blanket tariff on all Mexico-made vehicles as opposed to Mexico-made vehicles from Chinese manufacturers. But Orange Man Bad did specifically cite Chinese companies. Now, he makes a lot of valid points, a lot of jobs. I mean, we made many jokes on this channel about the Ford Mex-E made in Mexico as opposed to the United States. So he's got a point. A lot of automotive manufacturing jobs have left the US, headed to Mexico, China, and other parts of the world. Orange Man Bad making comments, accurate by the way. I mean, in particular, I've said it a million times, there's going to be a massive invasion of affordable, fairly compelling Chinese electric vehicles everywhere, including in the United States. It's inevitable, and it will cause a bloodbath. Legacy automotive manufacturers in the US are going to get absolutely smoked. They can't compete. So the reason for this detour, some examples of out of context versus comments with context, is totally unrelated to Ross's comments that are definitely on point, don't require any further context, and are super accurate. That said, it is really, really hard to take Ross's comments seriously when he says things like this. It's just a huge red flag for thinking, or actually emoting instead of thinking, which in my opinion, rightly brings into question one's credibility on any matters whatsoever.
If not just basically wrong ideas, is really turned off a core demo of consumers for Tesla and has hurt demand here in the United States. On top of, incredible levels of competition in China, and now the German, eco-terrorist issue that Tesla's facing with the shutdown of the Berlin factory and enormous costs to get it up again. This quarter is not looking great for Tesla. Meanwhile, the CEO continues to spend a majority of his time on X discussing issues that nobody at Tesla really wants to discuss. So, it's created a revaluation. We look at the story differently now. It's not the same Tesla story as 3 years ago or 2 years ago. The way we look at it now is Tesla needs to come down to a valuation that makes sense for a company that's not growing earnings, that has issues, but yet still has this amazing long-term potential if there was some focus on building this brand, like advertising.
Oh, God. So we heard moments ago, Ross was talking about it's going to be a bad quarter. But then moments later, he also mentions that the company has a very, very positive future over the long term. if it's true that they have a very positive future, by the way, I agree. I'm not really sure what the issue is here. And now, Ross is going to tell us about advertising.
Building this brand, like advertising to start. So we think, 40 times this year's earnings is a fair multiple for Tesla. That brings you down to 120, and that's unfortunate. So, I hope that doesn't happen being a Tesla shareholder, but we've paired our position dramatically at our.
Okay, just a quick detour here again. Ross unequivocally believes Tesla is currently worth $120 a share, currently $173 as I record this. I think Craig Irwin's around $85 a share. So Ross believes that Tesla's worth $120 a share today. Morgan Stanley, who I've been very critical of in the past, but also praised where appropriate, have a $320 price target, not far off 3 times what Ross thinks the company's worth. I haven't noticed any research notes from Morgan Stanley entitled Elon bad, therefore destroying Tesla demand. So I just wanted to emphasize this disparity in terms of opinions. Now, look, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Ross is talking about a multiple of 40 times. I totally get that. But we really are seeing an extreme divergence in opinions in terms of what people think Tesla is worth. It wasn't that long ago. Our price targets compressed and everyone was chasing after the stock very close to one another, increasing our price target by $12 a share because Tesla went up. Because green tidal wave. But now we are really, really starting to see a massive, massive divergence. Not everyone can be right. I'll leave it at that.
Our firm over the last 6 months, and I'm grateful I've done that because we reinvested those proceeds into AI investments that have paid off dramatically, and our clients have benefited greatly from this change.
Sold one of the world's leading AI companies to invest in AI. Okay.
120.
I'm not saying.
Why don't you sell it?
I'm just saying that.
Yeah, are you selling?
Nicole's reaction to this is so telling. Her body language, her expression, her demeanor, everything. We have to watch this again. If I didn't know any better, and obviously I don't know better, I can't read Nicole's mind, but if I could read Nicole's mind, hypothetically, her mind may have just said, 120? What the fuck? Has this guy just become Gordon Johnson? Is this serious? Is this the same Tesla bull that was extremely supportive of the company, extremely bullish on the company? $120 a share? Morgan Stanley at $320? What is this guy talking about? Of course, I can't read her mind, so we'll just have to allow her to articulate her thoughts. But again, just watch the body language and her reaction. I mean, dude, just look at her face. Okay, I'm going to play it now. This is amazing.
120.
I'm not saying.
Why don't you sell it?
I'm just saying that.
Yeah, are you selling everything?
40 times $3 of earnings. Yeah, 40 times $3 is 120. Explain to me why it deserves a higher multiple than Nvidia, Microsoft. It just doesn't deserve a higher multiple than Nvidia and Microsoft. And that's just where I'm at.
All right.
Now, if you're going to tell me earnings are going to go much higher in 2025, right now they're $4 earnings. People are already lowering those estimates for 2025 now. Some people are down in the 3s again. So even if you do 40 times 2025 earnings, you're at 160. So there's not a lot of impetus here to say that the stock should be worth substantially more than where it's trading. And that's, I think, the problem with Tesla.
Wow. So based on Ross's Tesla fair valuation at $120 a share, it's a market cap of $380 billion, a little bit less than that, but I'll round up. At $160 a share, call it $500 billion market cap a couple of years from now. And look, I'm just some dumbass on the internet who doesn't know anything about anything, but I'm a little bit confused. Ross is quite bullish on Tesla over the long term, clearly not over the next year or two. It almost feels like he's got a set of rules that he's imposed upon himself in terms of how long he can assess a company for, over what time horizon. Anything beyond a certain window, maybe 2 years, 1.5 years, something like that, he just has to ignore. It's just bizarre to me. I just don't get it, right? Conventions, investing rules, I don't get it. Does Ross not believe autonomy is going to be a big deal? That Tesla can't solve autonomy? That robotaxis won't happen? That the humanoid robots are a joke? That the energy business won't continue to scale? That it's not an enormous opportunity? I just don't understand where he's coming from, because he says they've got a very bright future, or words to that effect. Yet, if that's true and the stock is on massive sale and he believes it's worth 120 right now, I just don't get it. Isn't that when you're buying, not selling? I do not understand, unless his decisions are being driven by the need to perform over the short term. Maybe he manages money for people or something. That might explain something. I don't know. Does anyone know? Does he manage money for people? That might explain a few things. Bizarre. Someone remind me, by the way. Let's say 2-3 years from now. Let's check back in and see. Is Tesla 3, 4, $500 billion market cap? Have Ross's comments aged well?
All right. I'm going to leave that alone because that's a lot for people to stomach for who are.
Oh, this is classic. I got to rewind a sec. Again, if only we could read Nicole's mind. I'm going to leave that alone.
All right. I'm going to leave that alone because that's a lot for people to stomach for who were hoping for a lot more. In the meantime, Rivian, right, got Piper Sandler. Wait, what?
Hope doesn't get you anywhere in the stock market, okay?
He's right. Hope is not a strategy.
I know, but there was a lot of expectations when it came to AI and full self-driving and his vision, and that's why people were betting on the upper end. I'm going to leave that alone, but I will also add that
he's got to work at the company every day to achieve these visions,
right.
And that's my point, is if the CEO doesn't work there, and he used to sleep at the factory, so why isn't he sleeping at the factory now to get full self-driving working?
Holy fuck. I don't know if this is a serious question or he's just trying to diminish Musk's reputation. I'm really puzzled here. The reason that Musk was previously sleeping at the fucking factory was to avoid Tesla going bankrupt due to production hell. He needed to be on the lines to ensure they could successfully ramp the Model 3, or it would have killed the company. And when I say killed the company, they would have eventually got acquired. So not literally killed it, but you know what I mean. That's the worst case scenario. He needed to be on the production lines using his engineering brain to solve problems. Makes sense. FSD is not a kill the company software issue. In addition, and this is really important, and I don't understand why people don't listen, Tesla have been very clear. And if you understand AI, at least a little bit, how neural nets work, there are two constraints. You have data, you need high quality data and enough of it in one end, and then you need to train on computers. That's how AI gets better. Tesla now has an insane stream of high quality data from their vehicles. In excess of 5 million vehicles covered in a suite of cameras, collecting video, every edge case you can imagine, constantly. Tesla has incredible high quality data and a fuck ton of it. Tesla has been explicit, Elon has been explicit in explaining that the current constraint limiting the progress of FSD capability is not Elon Musk sleeping in the factory floor. It's not Elon Musk not posting on X. It's not Elon Musk abandoning Starship. It's training compute. There is a shortage of computers. If you want to be specific, GPUs, but that's a weird name to even call them these days, as Musk has pointed out. AI training computers. There's a shortage of those, right? This is literally the reason why NVIDIA stock has gone absolutely para-fucking-bolic. Because people realize, huge shortage, insane demand, shortage is going to last a while. Holy fuck. That is the constraint. Tesla has heaps of data. They do not yet have enough training compute. That's the bottleneck for improvement. Musk sleeping in his office on the factory floor does not magically cause other companies to suddenly allow Tesla to purchase more computers and everyone else to get the fuck out of the way. Oh, well, Tesla, Elon's sleeping on the floor. Therefore, sorry, Google, Apple, Amazon, we're cancelling your order for training compute because Elon's sleeping on the factory floor. Therefore, Tesla gets the computers instead. Now, optically, I can understand if you live in Ross's bubble, you see Elon posting on X while he's taking a shit, walking between meetings, boarding a plane, disembarking, and so on. It looks like he's on Twitter all the time. Oh my God, tweet, XXX. But Musk is as present at Tesla as ever, as necessary as ever. So too SpaceX. This has been the case. The idea that Musk is distracted, why did we not hear this ever until X? Never heard it about SpaceX, not once. Oh, there's been a setback on this ship, that engine. Elon Musk spending too much time at SpaceX. Look, they had a failure trying to re-land one of their rockets. He's distracted. He needs to get focused again. Perception and reality, very different things. And again, I just really have to emphasize, this is not Tesla facing production hell, something that could kill the company. So we can put that aside. It's not the same. If Tesla doesn't solve autonomy tomorrow, not a big deal. If they don't solve it for 5 years, not a big deal. If they never solve it, still not that big of a deal. Although I don't see that scenario playing out. But even if Tesla just had the energy and the automotive business, they've got huge multi-trillion-dollar growth potential. But the point here is the constraint on solving FSD is training compute. Tesla themselves are trying to alleviate this bottleneck. They've designed Dojo, but it's not enough. Just like with the batteries, the 4680 cells. They're ramping their own battery production, but still buying batteries from everyone else they can get them from. The same is true with training compute. That's the limiting factor. So Musk sleeping in the factory doesn't do shit. You can't control what you can't control. Tesla could control the production systems for the Model 3, the production lines. That's why Musk was in the factory, sleeping on the floor. Tesla can't control their ability to cut the line, and we don't live in the Star Trek universe where we've got replicators where you can just press a button and magically replicate a bunch of fucking computers for training. It takes time for these to be produced and sold to customers, including Tesla. So, this is such a bizarre thing to say. If I'm being honest, I don't think Ross has a great grasp on what's required for solving autonomy. Now, this is not a diss. I mean, he's obviously a fairly smart guy with some interesting opinions, but I just don't think he gets it. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if Musk did sleep on the factory floor, suddenly NVIDIA would just cancel everyone else's orders and Tesla would get all the compute and even get a massive discount. Who knows? But in short, it appears to me this is a very large example of perception, Ross's, versus reality. Maybe being a little bit clouded in terms of his judgment by Elon bad. After all, Elon bad supports white supremacy. Oh, shit. P.S. Bloodbath.
It doesn't even work on the Cybertruck. You know, there's so many software things on the Cybertruck that need to be updated. Like, there's so much work to be done at Tesla. There's literally no excuse that he's not working there every day.
Okay.
Fuck, dude. Nicole's reactions are classic. If only we could read her mind. I just have to rewind that again. Just look at the pause, the pregnant pause, and then all she's got is, okay. She's not biting here. I can see why. I just don't think she wants an unhinged rant.
Working there every day.
Okay. I'm going to try again to leave Tesla. I'm trying really hard to leave Tesla. Leaving Tesla, I'm going to mention Rivian, which got some positive comments today. Piper Sandler put an overweight, for example. I don't know if that's a winner, but I will mention something in the EV vehicles to transition over to some other names that you do like. Lennar in home building, online gambling, crypto. Are these areas you do like? Can you give us a sentence on each of those?
Yeah, you know, obviously Vegas is doing great. They just...
Sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words, and this frame right here, I think, sums things up entirely. I think Ross has lost the plot. Perhaps he would say the same of me, deluded Tesla fanboy. Thinks Tesla's worth far more than they currently are. Regardless, I can confirm, between now and the 2024 US presidential election, I'm pretty confident that Ross will perceive Musk being even more distracted as he engages even more on X about extremely important civilizational issues, calls out corruption, doesn't fall in line, and fails to propagate the one true narrative. In short, I think Ross is going to have a extreme amount of butthurt between now and toward the end of this year. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy. Wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links at the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.